Today I'm going to break one of my rules, and we're skipping straight ahead to the sequel without looking at the first entry, because the first entry in this series did not do much for me. I like the premise, I like what carried on, if you will, into the sequel, but the supernatural stuff and some of the decisions and things like that were just not working for me. The cast of characters was mostly, if not wholly, unlikable. So I don't think I could fill a video with it that wouldn't just be vitriol at how much I hate the characters. So we're skipping it and going straight ahead to Unfriended, DarkWeb, released in 2018. It was written and directed by Steven Susko, and it stars Colin Woodell, Stephanie Nogueras, and Betty Gabriel, who you may know as the maid of sorts, Georgina, from Get Out. But this was so much better. The cast of characters was more likeable, the premise was believable for the most part, and the supernatural element was completely removed. If you thought this was going to be a continuation of, the Revenge of Laura Barnes or whatever, it's not. That's what I like about this. It does remove itself entirely. The theme, the idea of the screen share and all that kind of stuff, the Skype call that's invaded by something else, that's all it really keeps. I mean, you could argue maybe the technology that the Karen group, and I will get onto the pronunciation of that in a bit, the technology they have to sort of create that weird glitching effect on the screen and control the Facebook chat and remove messages. That could be DarkWeb technology. You can hand wave it away quite easily. Now, if technology like that does exist, it's probably patchy at best, but that's if it even exists. But you can hand wave it away. You could argue it's a sci-fi film if it makes you feel better. But this was so much better. I really did enjoy it a lot more. The tension was there, the laughs were there. I mean, like I say, the cast of characters was more likeable. Yes, Matias is a dumbass, but AJ is the conspiracy nut, who is kind of like a young Alex Jones almost, but there's still something likeable about him, which is where he wins over Alex Jones. He's still better than even the worst character in the first one. Serena and Nari with their relationship and the secrets they have, the fact that there's a family member who's dying and, Nari's family are totally against this whole same-sex situation. We have Damon, who Skypes in from across the pond, and sort of is willing to do all this digging to help Matias out. And of course we have Stephanie Nogueras, who is profoundly deaf, actually playing a deaf character. It's someone who actually has the condition playing it. And I always respect that. Whilst I did enjoy, for example, Hush, it's still someone who's not having to learn how to do it. Someone who is deaf can sign effortlessly if they've learned throughout their life. So it's a lot more believable, her scenes. The fact that she's like, I can't hear you, things like that. It's like, remember, I can't hear, I have to lip read, slow down. Things like this just make it so much more believable. And like I say, it just elevates the film. This cast of characters are great. And I enjoyed every one of them. I felt the tension because I cared about them. When I was watching the first one, I was like, okay, you can die. I don't care. Please, feel free. But we start with Matias having procured a laptop, and he's developing this program called Papaya for Amaya, his girlfriend. Did he do it to make it rhyme? Probably. I can't find any real parallels to this program, by the way, unfortunately, because I think it's a good program as a way to learn, or as like a stopgap while you're learning. But Matias seems to think, and this is part of his problem as a character, he's always looking at solutions wrongly. He's looking at the problem in a way that leads into a poor solution. Rather than learning ASL properly, he's making a program where he just has to learn the little bits and record it in so that he can communicate one way with Amaya. But if she's more comfortable signing, especially if they're in person, you can't have Papaya then. If she's comfortable signing and you still don't understand it and you can't communicate fully with her, that's a problem. Relationships are built on communication. You're not really fixing it. You're putting an extra step in. But again, this is very true to character. It's something that I also respect of the film. It stays true to these characters. It doesn't make them do decisions that make no sense. But Amaya's, rightly annoyed that he's not willing to put the effort in and properly learn it. So she doesn't want to get involved, in this game night that they're planning. Unfortunately, it has to take place over Skype, allowing us to have the film entirely on computer screens. As much as I love the film, I'm calling out the thing that they wanted to do it like that, and they had to put a way of fixing it so that it could be that. So we end up having to have this Skype conversation with all of these characters, and Lex, who I didn't mention before, who's a DJ who doesn't want to take the subway and the bus, and I fully respect her decision. But she's also got, issues with her family. She shouts down the phone at them. There's one scene where it's like, mute your mic, Lex, and all this kind of stuff. But the laptop that Matias is working on, we learn, has this whole hidden section. And, he's guided through how to access this information. And I didn't realise that actually Daisy Disk, or Disk Daisy, one of the two, whatever it's called, is a real program. I've never used it because it's my own computer. There's not hidden files and folders that I need to access on it, that I don't already know how to access. But yeah, so he uses this real program, which is great, to extract the data and all this kind of stuff, and tries to get the data out and finds that there's all these very unsettling bits of footage. It seems that people are being, particularly girls, are being kidnapped and killed off, basically. And it's really kind of, making him upset, and starts to tease out things to the group of like things that he's seeing, and they start getting pulled along with it, and everything's kind of like unsettling. And eventually we find that the guy who dropped this laptop, because he's getting these messages constantly saying like, where's my laptop, you thief? And it's like, no, I bought it on Craigslist, show me the ad. It doesn't exist, So he's got to try and give this back and not let everyone know, and sort of also save his girlfriend and this other girl who's been kidnapped. But the group, particularly Nari, I must say, she's the most violently opposed to this group. She wants to get the police involved and everything like that, but obviously he's been told, you do that, everyone dies. So he tries to make it sound like an ARG, which is bloody silly. He's a stupid man. But like I say, we learn about him. His solution to problems is not the solution that makes the most sense at the time. And I respect the filmmakers for making him consistent, even if he is dumb. Because while some of them seem convinced, at least at first, Nari isn't. She's still suspicious, and Karen 4, as we learn, is not at all on board with his idea. So we have this chase, and the rest of the Karen group get involved, and they're after everyone now. And slowly but surely, everyone in the group is hunted down and killed off in various ways. Now, I keep saying the Karen group, and in the film they say Charon and Sharon. Some of them even just say Sharon, and it sounds like Ozzy Osbourne calling his wife. But, weirdly enough, I went to the actual Wikipedia page myself to know the pronunciation, and I remembered that also in the film, they show the exact same Wikipedia page, which at the start gives the pronunciation guide in the IPA tool. And you'll always see these weird symbols which tell you how to pronounce it. And it clearly says up there, a k sound, because that's what the Greek sound of the letter that starts the name would sound like. It's a k more. It's kind of a bit throatier, as I understand it. But you can get away with saying k. It's close enough. It's not ch, it's not sh. It's a hard sound. And it rankled me in the film, because they saw that information. They saw the exact Wikipedia page. That is the real Wikipedia page. And it just really annoyed me. But rant over about the pronunciation. I still enjoyed the film despite it. But the ways that, they're sort of hunted down is very good. The tension is there. I was sat there like just nibbling, as you do while you're watching a film, and like occasionally pausing to take notes and things like that. But I was like just riveted to the screen. It was getting me. The tension was there, and I haven't felt that way in I wouldn't really call this a horror film. It's more of perhaps a sort of cyber thriller. But I haven't felt that way in a long time, where I've just been like riveted and not even like eating between and having to go, oh wait, I'm meant to make notes on this. The tension was there and it was getting me, and that's a good sign. Like I say, maybe the name was needed to sell this film, but what they did with the premise was amazing. I mean, I saw Searching, I think last year, with John Cho, and that was another one where it used the premise quite well. And that one kept me kind of, interested, and I might sort of cover that down the line. But everything about this was great. The fact that they used the snippets from AJ's little sort of podcasty web series thing, of like saying like how much he's anti-establishment. He made it into a call to 911 to set him up as the shooter. And as soon as I saw them like tracking back over the audio, I was like, I know what they're doing. I mean, I'd seen it before, but it suddenly came to me. It wasn't like the memory, it was a discovery. It was like, oh wait, they're setting him up. And the moment that Nari's at the subway station and there's a guy behind her, I was like, oh no. Oh no. No. But of course we all know what happened. But this was great, you know, the tension was there, like I say, the acting was great. Mostly. There were a few moments. But one of the last things I want to talk about is the ending. Because according to Stephen Susker, there's only one ending. He's said this many times. But theatres were well aware that, you know, they may have got one of two. There were screenings that were even set up as ending A, ending B, or ending 1, ending 2, however it was. And the one that probably most of us have seen, and please leave it in the comments if you've seen any different ones, but the one that most have seen is the hit by a van at the end after the vote. There's another one where he's buried alive and tries to communicate with Amaya, but they managed to pixelate his mouth so she can't lip read. If he'd learned sign, it would have worked. So that's kind of a good, like, sort of parable kind of idea, you know, well, if he'd learned it, it would have helped you. But apparently there's also 2 entirely different endings on the DVD, and I haven't got the DVD, I found this digitally. So I've never seen those. There's one about like a video where they basically, I think, almost induct him into the group, kind of a bit Now You See Me like. And the other one, which I can't remember, that's, you know, the alternative DVD ending, if you will. So there's apparently a total of 4 endings, but I can't see any sign online of any ending apart from the primary one. People have talked about the additional endings, but I've never seen footage. So if you have any footage and you can manage to upload it somehow without getting it taken down, I'd love to see it. You know, obviously, if anyone knows of a way for me to get hold of those different endings legitimately, I don't really want to buy the DVD if I can avoid it. But if anyone can find out a way of me seeing them, I'd love to see them, because I want to know if they're real, or if, again, this is like some urban legend kind of thing that they've put out there as a wonderful marketing tool, because that's a great idea. And my respect for these guys skyrockets because of that. But I really did enjoy that. You know, like I say, took the premise of the first one, took the basic idea, ran with it, made it better. This is what I want from sequels. Whether it deserves the title of Unfriended or not is negligible at this point. It was still a good film and I could enjoy it even if that's the case. So next time we're going to cover something, I think, vastly different. I need to get away from sequels and spooky things and, you know, sort of series of films. I'm going to try and do something standalone. But knowing me, I'll probably find something in the interim that'll screw up my plans. But whatever it is, I hope you'll join me for it next time. And as always, thank you for watching and take care.